Thank you, Dr. Oliver. Okay. Recording stopped. Hello. Yeah, okay. Very good morning and a warm welcome to Technical Session 1. It's with great honor and pleasure I welcome each one of you and our esteemed participants to this session. This session is dealing with a very important topic that is millet diversity and agroecology, Ex-situ and In-situ on-farm conservation, challenges and opportunities. This session is being chaired by Dr. Trilojan Mohapatra, who is a distinguished and visionary leader in the field. And he is the chairperson, Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Rights Authority, New Delhi, India. And he has a PhD in genetics from Indian Agriculture Research Institute. He currently holds the position of chairperson. Welcome, sir. Chairperson, Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Rights Authority, India. He previously worked as Director General, Indian Council of Agriculture Research and Director of Indian Agriculture Research Institute and National Rice Research Institute. Dr. Mohapatra specializes in molecular genetics and genomics with over 160 research papers and several book chapters. He achieved significant milestones, including developing the first high-yielding basmati rice variety resistant to bacterial leaf blight. His outstanding contributions have earned him numerous honors and prestigious fellowships from esteemed scientific academies. We welcome you, sir. And we have 7 speakers in this session. First, I would like to invite Dr. Carlo Fada, who is Research Director, Biodiversity for Food and Agriculture Initiative Lead, Alliance of Biodiversity International and CIIT Rome. Welcome, sir. And the next, Dr. G.P. Singh, who is Director, ICR National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources, New Delhi. Welcome, sir. Dr. M. Vetriventan, Senior Scientist, Genetic Resources, International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, Hyderabad. Welcome, sir. And Dr. Irish, and she's a coordinator, Asian Farmers Association for Sustainable Rural Development, Philippines. She's joining us online. Welcome, Dr. Irish. The next speaker is Mr. Pran Ranjan, Technical Expert, GIZ. Welcome, Mr. Pran Ranjan. And the next speaker, Mr. Prashant Kumar Parida. He is Development Coordinator, MSSRF Jaipur. Welcome, Prashant. And we have along with us custodian farmer, Mr. K. Shanmugam, who is from Kuli Hills, Namakkal, Tamil Nadu. Welcome, Mr. Shanmugadas. Yes. Over to you, Dr. Trilojan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this session, welcome to all of you. Welcome to this session on millets, diversity and agroecology, Ex-situ and In-situ on-farm conservation. As you all know, that biodiversity holds the key for future crop improvement programs. As you all know again, that the way climate is changing, the way nutritional insecurity, malnutrition is also pervading, and ecological damages are causing harm. So to sustain agricultural production and to address malnutrition that we have, so we need to really focus on crops like millets, which are climate resilient, which are nutritionally rich. Conservation of bioresources, particularly millets, holds the key for future. To address these issues and challenges, as I just cited, we need to really preserve them. Not only preserve them, but also utilize them. In situ conservation and ex situ conservation, both are so crucial. Nothing should be lost permanently, and that's the reason why we need to really go for ex situ conservation. But at the same time, we should be able to allow the natural resources to evolve naturally in their own habitats. Also face the challenges of climate change so that the adaptive changes occur and keep occurring as they evolve. So that is the reason why in situ conservation is also very, very crucial. The role of farmers, again, is very crucial in this context. That's the reason why this particular session holds such a great relevance and importance. The arrangement of conference and the topics and themes are so timely and so relevant. And today, as it is said, we have 7 speakers, and we have 1 joining online and 6 here physically with us. The first speaker of the session is Dr. Carlo Fadda, Research Director, Biodiversity International and Shared Alliance, Rome. And Dr. Carlo is a evolutionary biologist. His PhD is in evolutionary biology. So he deals with biodiversity for food and nutrition. That is the aspect he directs. He is the director of this particular program at Biodiversity Shared Alliance in Rome. And not only that, he has been actually working on biodiversity, various aspects of it, in different regions of the world, and managing projects across continents and countries across continents. Vietnam, China, Ecuador, Ethiopia, and so on and so forth. In fact, he is the person who established the Biodiversity Shared Alliance office. Earlier it was Biodiversity International office in Ethiopia in 2015. In fact, he has been working, in Biodiversity International for almost 20 years. So a vast experience on dealing with biodiversity for food and nutrition. His recent engagements, particularly past 6 years, on the very important aspect of seeds for needs. Under different situations and circumstances, the seeds that are required by farmers, and how those seed needs can be met, and what could be the strategies, and that he has been working on. Integrating gene bank material into the production system, very, very crucial. Having gene bank is one thing, but how do you sustainably and effectively utilize gene bank material to improve crops and subsequently integrate them in production systems? That is what he has been working. So Dr. Carlo has rich experience, as I said, and we are fortunate to have him as the opening batsman of the session. So Dr. Carlo, please, floor is yours.
Yes, thank you so much. And for this introduction. As you know, the CGIAR is undergoing a lot of reform, and so is also leading one initiative in the one CGIAR on nature-positive agriculture, on which a lot of the things that I'm talking about today are gonna fit, and we will see also how the concept of seeds for needs has evolved. And then as a director in the Alliance, we tackled biodiversity from many angles, from the crop diversity, which is the core of this presentation, but also policy aspect. We have mandated Center for Banana, and also we work on tree diversity. And so we look at restoration and how we can integrate better and more trees on farm for more sustainable production. But let me go into this, the presentation today, and let me introduce you with the Seeds for Needs approach. So that is really a kind of evolution of methods that we think are really conducive to deploy in a relatively short period of time material that is well adapted, and that's the origin of the Seeds for Needs, is well adapted to changing climate. And so to provide farmers with resilient material and that can help coping with the climate change. And so it's we've started in Ethiopia in 2009. It has been implemented in 14 countries, so it has been refined and tested further over the time. The way it works is that you assemble a panel of diversity. Normally, and because I like also doing genetics and genomic study, and I like big panels, I tend to recommend sometimes up to 200 varieties. Up to 200 varieties, because then I can conduct GWAS study, as you can see from the little mark on the with the molecular part. But then also we do characterization, so conventional agromorphological characterization, as well as farmers evaluation, and that part is really important. So then we have basically three data sets. We have the genetics, we have the morphology, and we have the farmer's appreciation of the same. And then of course, we narrow it down. So from, say, 200 in Ethiopia, the first project were actually 400 varieties of durum wheat, but we narrow it down based on the selection of the farmers, normally to be something between 15 and 25 varieties. And we use an approach which we call it crowdsourcing of TRICOT, which stands for Triadic Comparison of Technologies, to make the varieties test these, the farmers test these varieties under their own condition. So we give 3 varieties in these packets to the farmers, different. They are blind. Farmers don't know what they are. And we ask them, we give them protocols so that each farmers grow each of the varieties. And normally we have 150 to 200 farmers testing the varieties, because it's true that they've been evaluated during maybe a couple of field days in different stage of the plant growth. But when they grow themselves under their own condition, they really appreciate if the variety, they like it, what is good for, how does it grows under their own soils and management practices. So this further refine and allow to access to understand which varieties are actually useful to the communities, and then the farmers report them, and then of course we measure the environmental condition. If we have the resources, we measure the soil at each of the farmer plot. We have environmental data, climatic condition during the season, so we can relate what the farmers report back to us to the actually environmental conditions. And then the farmers report back. We try as much as possible to do it through mobile phone, but not everywhere this is possible, so we go sometimes with the paper. And once we have this information, now we can select the 5, 6, 8, 10 varieties that really suits farmers' needs. So normally this happens if we have one season per year. We are now in year 3, and in year 3 we already have 6, 8, 10 varieties that are very suitable for the farmer's condition. They've been selected through big trials, and they've been validated by this crowdsourcing and citizen science approach, where the farmers heavily participate. Now, the problem is that many times, since these varieties come from the gene bank, and by the way, normally in the panel we also put improved varieties. We want the farmers to have the best material for them. So we put release varieties, we put varieties that the governments are promoting, so that the farmers can also compare with what the government is actually promoting. And many times the farmers would select some of the improved varieties and some of the land races because they meet, in this way they can meet different needs. So it's not necessarily antagonistic. In the portfolio that eventually the farmers choose, you can have a lot of improved varieties as well. But then there are varieties that are not improved, and so they're not in the seed system. And then the access to seeds become really an important issue. So we normally then work with the communities to establish community seed banks. And in the community seed banks is where farmers can have access to the seeds of the varieties that they've selected. And normally when you establish community seed bank, it's not just making a building, but it's training farmers on seed production so that farmers can train other farmers who are interested in getting seeds from the community seed banks. They can train them on seed production. So at the end, you have more and more farmers that actually know how to produce relatively high quality seeds. And that is important because the bank works as a bank. So you are a farmer, you bring them a seed, you open a bank account, which is paid with the seeds, and then when you need the seeds, you want to go there and you take the seed back. And then the next year, you need to return the seeds as an interest rate. So you get the seeds on loan, and then you return a little bit more quantity so that more farmers can actually access and have and use those seeds. And so when you return the seeds, you need to return seeds of good quality, because maybe those seeds go to another farmer, or at least the interest goes to another farmer. And so you need to ensure that this farmer also receives quality seeds. So at the end, you have a community-based seed system, which has multiple advantages. Dr. Mohapatra was talking of farmers' rights. The farmers are in control of the resources, which is very important. So they decide what they want, they decide which material they get from the community seed banks, and so they control their genetic resources, and they have access to high-quality seeds. Of course, as I said, there are farmers that still want to grow, or that want to grow the improved varieties, and then they can get those through the formal system. So in this way, you integrate both the formal and informal seed systems in ways that satisfies all their farmers' needs. And then, as Dr. Mohapatra was saying, there are, if we make a panel of 200 accessions, not all of them are actually useful. So some of them will go back to the seed bank, to the gene bank. We don't want to lose this material. It has been tested, it has been characterized, so now it has a lot more information. So when it returned to the gene bank, being it national or international gene bank, it has added value because now we know more. We have the DNA, etc., etc. So it is a more valuable panel that goes back to the national and international gene bank. And so then it's iterative because you can always add more material to the system. And of course, then you can complement the seeds with agronomic practices, with water, and eventually you want to help farmers to make sure that these varieties actually go to the market, so it has to be to add livelihood and value chain development for these varieties. So let's say a couple of examples of how we have implemented. One is from India, and one is from Ethiopia. In India, we have been working on the Seeds for Needs has been implemented in 4 agroecological zones, as you can see from the map, for 20 crops. We have the Western Himalayas, that includes the cold arid tract, northeastern region of Eastern Himalayas, the Western arid semi-arid region in Rajasthan, and then the Central Tribal region, Madhya Pradesh and others, which have been part of a GEF project. And millet, of course, it was 20 crops, and millet was one of that. And then we enhanced the genetic diversity on farm by, again, having this large panel of diversity, 200 native varieties of all small millets, bird millet, amaranth, buckwheat. And we had 700 farmers that participated through the CleanMob, the citizen science approach that I described above. And again, as it is more or less standard for all the different seeds for needs, we were able to identify 26 varieties of the most potential varieties that were suitable for these diverse needs. So farmers were trained on making the plant selection under this participatory variety selection process. So they gain knowledge and also we gain knowledge by working with the farmers on how they see the varieties with their own eyes. We established community seed banks, so the local seed networks in all the 4 agro-eco-regions that I described above, which involve 190 self-help groups and 15 farmers producer organizations, and they work on millets cultivation and promotion, which includes, as I said, value chain. Seeds have been exchanged through 32 community seed banks, and collectively we conserve through this project more than 3,000 native varieties of the 20 crops that were originally part of that portfolio. So the project has been extremely successful both in conservation and use of the genetic diversity. Now, when we narrow down or we zoom down into the per millet part, of course we need to, and when we consider markets, and here I go more into the value chain part, when we consider market, we have assessed for quality to make sure that we are aware of the rancidity matrix for per millet. We have been teaching the farmers how to brand their own products. So that part is very important. So we really made farmers entrepreneur by branding, trademark, tagline, packaging, labeling their own products. Here you can see a set of the products that the farmers have been able to add. There are some more here for rice, as you can see as well, mung bean, per millet, etc. They are sold and they are found in shops. So at the end, the farmers have not only managed to conserve, have access to seeds and manage their seeds, but also to improve their livelihood through this cycle. And again, the community seed banks. The case of Ethiopia is, I would like to go more into the technical side very quickly. Here we characterize the entire teff genotypes that were conserved in the National Gene Bank of Ethiopia, which is 3,850 accession. We had bioclimatic data extrapolated for each of the locations where the passport data, which were indicated by the passport data. This was, of course, very easy characterization initially, so phenological, qualitative, and few quantitative data that were collected on these 3,850. And the results show that there was very big diversity in this panel. But then when we correlate these phenological, the changes, the current climate with the 2070 climate projection, we see that there could be a potentially big change in suitability, and basically the area for teff production would actually got reduced, as you can see from the bottom left figure in red. So this will be the shrinking of the potential area for teff production unless something is done. We selected this time still a big panel of 366 accession from the same material for which we did the GWAS analysis, and the panel also included, as I was saying, 45 improved varieties. And then we asked the farmers to evaluate these 366. And so we realized that what the farmers look is not so much the variety, but actually the type of traits. So, for example, they like short duration material. And then they don't pick one variety which is short duration, but they select among multiple varieties that have short cycles. And then the color of the spike, the length of the spike. And then we could, of course, correlate, as we did in this publication, with the molecular work. So, because in the interim I'm already long in time, the Seeds for Needs is an efficient and effective way to screen and develop pre-breeding for millets based on multifactorial aspects, such as adaptation to climate change, farmers, and market preference. I'd like to also emphasize here that the breeders are part of the process. So the breeders are always with us, and so the material can be directly used by the farmers, but also it can enter into breeding programs. So when we finish the crowdsourcing trial, we have this ramification whereby material goes into community seed banks and the breeders take what they think is interesting for their breeding program. It is a sound methodology to diversify production systems and make use of material conserved in ex-situ facilities, not less because it gives a lot of information back to that material. It is an effective way to engage farmers even when advanced molecular marker-assisted breeding is in place. We value the markers and the farmer's evaluation similarly. So the farmer's eye, the farmer's perception is really key to pre-select and select the material that goes into production. And then, of course, millets are an important component for sustainable production in Africa and Asia because they are more resilient and nutritious. I didn't show it here, but we have done a lot of nutrient profiling for the different varieties and crops. And also they can be an important component of improving livelihoods of farmers, as we have seen from the value chain work that we have done in India. Thank you. I'm open to any question.
Thank you very much. A big hand to you, Dr. Carlo. Now, our next speaker, because paucity of time, we'll have a few questions at the end, if time allows. Otherwise, we'll go ahead with the presentations. Kindly note down your queries and questions, and at the end of the session, we'll have some discussion. The next presentation is by Dr. G.P. Singh, who is currently the Director of the National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources, New Delhi. Dr. G.P. Singh is an involved plant breeder who has made tremendous contribution in the area of wheat breeding. And his variety, SD 2967, occupies almost 1/3 of area covered under wheat crop in India. That's a tremendous contribution, a very popular variety bred by him. This is only one example. There are also several other varieties. SD 3086 is another contribution of his. So it's a breeder of repute, a geneticist well known in the country and outside. Very importantly, prior to this position, he served as a director of the Institute on Wheat and Barley in Karnal. He is not only a plant breeder, a geneticist, an able administrator, as it is evident. He has a large number of publications. He is recognized with several awards and honors. He is a fellow of the prestigious Indian National Science Academy, and also is a fellow of National Academy of Agricultural Sciences. So Dr. G.P. Singh, floor is yours, and thank you very much for coming and joining this program. And time, is a constraint, so please finish in the shortest possible time.
Good afternoon, everybody. Most respected Chair, Professor Trilochen Mahapatra, distinguished guest speakers on dais, and ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege for me to stand before you and talk about PGR activities, although, as he said, I am known for wheat breeding. But of late, I have assumed charge of National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources and therefore involved in this. Millet are very, very important, and it has been emphasized by many in this symposium and also throughout the year, the International Year of Millets. It has been said again and again. So NBPGR, being the custodian of plant genetic resources, it is our profound duty to conserve millet germplasms, acquire them, conserve them, evaluate, and then of course conservation and utilization is a very important component in this. As you know, India is the second largest, holding the second largest gene bank in the world after United States. It has a total capacity of roughly around 470,000 accessions in the gene bank. It has the only plant herbarium, national herbarium of cultivated plants, only plant quarantine facilities of germplasm in India, FAO designated Center of Excellence in Tissue Culture and Cryopreservation, and of course one of the important component which was added in the last decade under the leadership of Dr. Mohapatra is DNA fingerprinting and varietal identification. Now, NBPGR with its entire setup of having 10 regional stations, 57 national active germplasm sites, and has international collaboration with all the CG institutions, particularly Diversity Alliance Partnership. I'm very proud Dr. Carlos is here, and other national stakeholders. In its gene bank, as you see here, the total strength is 482, roughly 82,000, which involves cryopreservation and also the in vitro bank. As far as millet is concerned, the National Seed Gene Bank is holding roughly 13% of it out of the total number. Of course, we are also involved in Ex-situ conservation of millets throughout the country. When we talk of Ex-situ conservation, we have a wide range of crops of millets, particularly sorghum, pearl millet, finger millet, foxtail millet, barnyard millet, kodo millet, little millet and proso millet. The total is roughly 61,000. And as you can say, majority of the contribution to the National Seed Bank is of indigenous nature, barring examples of sorghum where we have more than 50% of the exotic collections. Others, in total, we have roughly around 70% collections of indigenous nature. Now, one of the important components which has been emphasized by the Honorable Chair is the issue of enhancing the utilization of millet germplasm, because this is very important. You may have a lot of collections in the gene bank, but until and unless these are utilized properly in the crop improvement program, it doesn't serve the purpose. And therefore, National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources is committed and dedicated in the service of the nations by way of large-scale characterization and development of the core and mini-core set, as it was said by Carlos also, thus by providing opportunity to use the available diversity present in the gene bank. Multi-location evaluation, identification of the trait-specific germplasm in all the crops and more so in the millets, and then the availability of the characterization and evaluation data to all the partners of the program, and then linking the National Gene Bank with crop-based institution, which is one of the most important activities of the National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources. Sir, under your leadership, one of the very important program of CRP on agro-biodiversity was also launched in 2014 to 17, the first phase, and then it was very much strengthened, which has three components in it. The component one involves the multiplication and characterization of different crops. The component two, the trait-specific evaluation of the crops. The component three is the evaluation of the wild species, because wild species are the treasure house of the genes which are so far not been utilized. And therefore, under this program, we ran world's largest evaluation and characterization experiment at Dr. Punjab Rao Deshmukh Krishi Vidyapeeth, Akola, at the location which is in Maharashtra called Washim, where 25,000 accessions of gene bank were taken out after 25 years to 30 years of storage in the long-term storage plan. And as you can see here, it's a massive experiment which was conducted there. All the partners and stakeholders which were involved in that, including the state agricultural universities, the CG partners, and also the private industry people were also invited. And you can see here the variability in sorghum which was observed for ear head shape, grain, color, grain type in sorghum. And sir, due to this activity, we have now compiling the data. And you can see in this slide how diverse was our seed material. And one of the important factors is that even after conservation for long-term storage of 30 years, we got a germination percentage of almost 99.9%. Sorghum Field Day was also organized this year on 13th of March 2023, which was participated by more than 650 participants from, as I said, wide array of organizations involved in these activities. We are also doing multi-location trait-specific evaluation of finger millets for leaf neck finger blight at Almora, at Mandya, and Vizianagaram. And this is one of our very important activities. This year we have planned to evaluate more than 10,000 accessions of finger millet at Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Coimbatore, and also Banyan millet of more than 7,000 accessions at our Isapur farm in New Delhi. Now, one of the important activities of the National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources is not only to evaluate and characterize, but also in order to protect the IPR of the country. We are registering them in our National Gene Bank registry. And so far, in case of millets, we have more than 200 accessions which are of economic importance. They are possessing some trait of economic importance, has been registered and is being shared by signing a material transfer agreement with the parties which are interested in getting these materials. As you can see, these are some of the lines which have been registered for different trait of economic importance in different crops. We have also developed, sir, a software system of characterization and evaluation database. So anybody who is interested in getting these material of millets, or for that matter any of the crops, can always log into our PGR informatic panel, which is being now, it has been released 2.0, the newer version of the PGR portal, wherein you can search the genotype by name or by trait or by character or by any thing which is important to that particular crop, and you can get the information. This is one of the most important activities. We are also putting online database for the material which is being registered in the National Gene Bank for the people who are interested. As far as in-situ characterization is concerned, you very rightly mentioned that seed gene banks are very important. My previous speaker also made a lot of emphasis on this aspect. So we are also, with the help of the government policies of SCSP, tribal sub-plan, and also for NEH plans, we are supporting the activities of in-situ conservation. Once the ICR is open for CSR funding, I think we are looking forward for partnership with the private people also, in collaboration with Biodiversity and also the Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Right Authority. The in-situ farm management and conservation of PGR involves essentials of evolution and diversity development. As far as the sorghum evaluation was done, we have already reduced the number from 25,000 to a core of roughly around 3,000 accessions. And the second innings of the evaluation will develop a mini core, so that it is a representative sample of all the diversity we do have at the moment. One of the examples I would like to quote here, both Dr. Rana and Dr. Carlos are sitting here. We ran a very ambitious project of Jeff with 15 partners and 6 sites. Probably he was also referring to the same experimentations. So I would not like to go into the details, but it was very, very important to mainstream and conserve the use of agro-biodiversity for resilience agriculture, because these millets not only are very nutritive, which has been emphasized by Dr. Paul, but they are also very much resilient to the climatic vagaries, because we are seeing these events are happening more and more frequently now. So this project served at 15 partners, 6 sites, important contribution in identifying the germplasm. And as a matter of translational activities of this project, we also emphasized on the product development, post-harvest value addition and all those things. And many of the FPOs, farmers organizations are ready, and they are ready with their commercial products for market. Now, when we talk in the end of the challenges, actually in in-situ on-farm conservation, probably one of the important aspects is lack of supportive policies and programs. And the farmers are always in distress. The agrarian crisis is there. So the custodian farmers, there is no support for in-situ conservation. Of course, through the government policies of SCSP plan and tribal sub-plan, we are supporting these activities. Lack of seed system, as Carlos has mentioned, is one of the important challenges we have. Low returns and uneconomical return of in comparison to the intensive farming of the high-yielding varieties, because these land races and farmers' varieties are not that high-yielding, and when we compare them with the modern varieties. So in the end, I would like to conclude here that enhanced utilization of Ex-situ germplasm collection through participatory characterization and elevation of the program. And 1/3 of the National Gene Bank collections are land races, which can be taken up for future program in situ farm conservation. Most of the in-situ on-farm practices starts with the inception of project and concludes it with it. And then we need to have a policy support for sustainable in-situ on-farm practices. I take this opportunity to thank, in general, the MS Swaminathan Research Foundation, and in particular, Madam Swaminathan, for inviting me to this occasion and share my ideas. Thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you very much. Covering all aspects of particularly in-situ conservation, which is very, very important, and how they are being characterized and evaluated. So time is actually running out very fast, and so we have 5 more speakers to go, and time is very short. I am said that it's another maybe 40 minutes, very close to that is remaining with us. So we have Dr. M. Swaminathan with us. Yeah. So he is the genetic resource scientist at the International Crop Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics. He has rich experience in handling plant genetic resources, particularly the millets, which is the core of our discussion. And he has been involved in not only maintaining and managing germplasm, also he is involved in identifying trait-specific lines and utilizing them in breeding programs. Not only that, he keeps publishing, guiding students, and also contributing to overall, farmers' participation and all that in breeding programs, and particularly utilization of germplasm. So Dr. Swaminathan, so floor is yours. Please go ahead, and please keep in mind the time limitation. Okay. Yes, yes. So quickly, if you can finish it up, it will be good.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. So, in brief, myself, Swaminathan, genetic resources scientist working at Exsitu. I am working on sorghum, small millets, germplasm resources. I will be talking here on millets, genetic resources, ex-situ conservation and research. So I am from Exsitu. So Exsitu is so many students and farmers are here. So maybe one slide I was thinking to put about Exsitu. Exsitu is the non-profit and non-political international organization. We work on agriculture research for development in Asia and Africa. And it was established in 1972, and headquarters is at Hyderabad. And we have the research centers at East and Southern Africa and Western Central Africa also. And then our overall goal is to overcome poverty, hunger, and reducing malnutrition, and preventing environmental degradation, and also many other cross-cutting areas also we are working. So this year we are celebrating the International Year of Millets, but we all know now many conferences, many events are happening now. Why these millets are very important? If you see the millets, there are so many millets are there. It's not 1 or 2. If you go to Africa, millets means it is finger millet and then foxtail millet. If you go to US, it is the proso millet. If you go to China, it is the proso millet and foxtail millet, like that. So there are so many millets are there. If you see, sorghum and pearl millets are major millets, and then there are foxtail millet and kodo millet, little millet, and many more millets are there. And this little millet and kodo millets are originating from India, and many millets are originating from Africa. And these millets are very important because they are having diverse adaptation. Because if you see, these millets are grown high altitude to tropical, subtropical, and temperate region, and also having less water requirement for their cultivation, and also need less tolerance to drought also. And more importantly, these millets need low input for their cultivation, and also lesser susceptibility to insect pests and diseases. And most important is nutritional superiority of these millets over the cereals, other millets also. I told about this origin of these millets already, so this image shows that one. And then where these millets are grown, so these millets are grown globally in different parts of the world, mostly in Africa and Asia, but also in different parts of the Europe and US also it is grown. And just one definition about the plant genetic resources. Here many students and farmers are there. Plant genetic resources, so any plant material of the origin which is of important to the future generation of people. This includes reproductive materials or vegetative materials containing functional unit of heredity. And here if you see, there are two types of conservations are there. One is in-situ conservation, and then another one is ex-situ conservations. So Exsitu we are focusing largely on ex-situ conservation, but we are working with the MSSRF to develop the in-situ conservation approaches also. And if you see the global status of millets globally there are more than 479,000 germplasm accessions are there for millets, and particularly the large number of germplasm accessions are there for sorghum, pearl millet, and also considerable number of germplasms are there for finger millet, foxtail millet also, and even proso millet also. But other millets, if you see the the barnyard millet, kodo millet, little millet, fonio, and many other millets, the number of accessions available globally is very low number. And again, there may be duplicates also between the gene bank. Therefore, we need very important to collect them and then conserve them in the gene bank. There are many farmers are here and they are conserving the millet germplasm on farm, and those germplasm also need to be conserved in the national gene bank. We have directory here. So Exsitu gene bank conserving 80,000 germplasm, about 79,000 germplasm accessions are there at Exsitu. And at Exsitu, the sorghum collection and the pearl millet collection is the largest collection in the world. And also we have global collections of finger millet, and then also very good number of global collection of foxtail millet, and then proso, barnyard, kodo, and little millets also there. And then we are considering this germplasm under two conditions, like active collection in the medium term storage condition, which is 4 degrees Celsius, and the relative humidity is 20%. And then also we are storing the germplasm in the long-term storage condition, which is minus 20%. And then these germplasms are very well characterized. The Exsitu germplasm is very well characterized, and then characterization data and passport data is very well available in the database. If you go to the Exsitu database or also the global PGR database called Genesis PGR, there it is available. And also we are distributing this germplasm, not only conserving, also we are distributing the germplasm globally for research, breeding, and training purposes. If you see here, about 1.6 million seed samples were distributed to 150 countries. And here the table shows the region-wise distribution of the millet germplasms. And here you can see total of 778,000 germplasm accessions were distributed to 119 countries. This is about millet only, but altogether it is about 1.6 million seed samples. Not only conservation, but also we need to safely duplicate our germplasm. Actually, this is more precious material that we are having now, and this material needs to be safely duplicated and safely duplicated. So we are having safety duplication in two ways. One is second level safety duplication, which is at Svalbard Global Seed Vault, which is this image here. This is the Global Seed Vault. And then also we are safely duplicating our collection in different gene bank in different countries as a immediate access to this, immediate access if anything needed means. And since we have very less time, so I thought of putting 2 slides about the research activities. So we have large collections of germplasm, for example, 40,000 germplasm in sorghum and more than 23,000 germplasm in pearl millet. So to utilize this germplasm in crop improvement, we need to develop a strategy. We need to have a strategy. Therefore, initially we started developing the core collection. Core collection is the 10% of the entire collection. So we tried to capture the maximum diversity of the particular crop. We made a core collection. But sometimes the core collection also, sometimes it's bigger in number to handle. Therefore, we made a mini core collections. So we have developed core collections and mini core collection for all the crops that we are having at Ecrisat, and then that informations are available in the link here. And then after developing, then we also used this core collection and mini core collection to extensively characterize the gem blossom for different traits like biological biotic stresses, abiotic stresses, grain nutrient traits, and also agronomic traits. And then these gem blossom and informations are published. And also we developed trait-specific subsets also, like finger millet accession, which are tolerant to salinity, and then pearl millet accession, which are resistant to blast, like that. Trait-specific subset also developed, and these subsets are available to the researchers, and these informations are available in the Ecrisat database also, and also the global PGR database also it is available. And if you come to the challenges, I already mentioned the number of accession available for small millets, particularly the other than finger millet, all other small millets, gem blossom availability is very low and very less in number. And these gem blossom need to be collected and conserved, and this need specific funding also, and global initiative is needed to systematically characterize the gem blossom for different traits like biotic stresses, abiotic stresses, and grain nutrition, and also genomic characterization to enhance the utilization in the crop improvement. And if you come to the opportunities, we have very good number of gem blossom for sorghum, pearl millet, even finger millet also, and we need to enhance the use of this gem blossom and enhance the use of diversity in crop improvement. And we have there are genome sequences are available for most of the millets, so we need to use these genome sequences and also the available high throughput phenotypic and genotyping platform to enhance the use of gem blossom in crop improvement. So some informations are available in the website, and then you can go to the Gene Bank website and also PGR website also.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very quickly taking us through the Ecrisat activities. So thank you very much. Next speaker is Ms. Iris P. Baguleth. She is coordinator of Asian Farmers Association for Sustainable Rural Development, Philippines. I hope she has joined. Yes, I think she is here. Welcome, Iris. She is currently the coordinator for UN Decade of Family Farming and Women Farmers Agenda at Asian Farmers Association for Sustainable Rural Development. She has been working for decades with the International Institute for Rural Reconstruction, and a varied kind of experience she has gathered over years. She is agriculture graduate, has rich experience in dealing with the germplasm, particularly in relation to the women farmers. We are very happy to have you, Iris, in this particular program. Floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you to our moderator. Good morning and good afternoon to everyone. I'm connecting or joining you from the Philippines, and we are really grateful for the invitation extended to us by the foundation. And I want to first quickly give you an overview of the organization that I'm currently representing. So I am with the Asian Farmers Association for Sustainable Rural Development, or AFA. AFA is a regional alliance of 20 national farmers organizations and cooperatives in 16 countries. And in India, SEWA has joined our network in 2016. And additionally, we are working with NGOs like IMSE in Odisha and NICORD in Meghalaya through the Asia Pacific Farmers Program and Farmers for Asia initiative supported by IFAD and EU. So basically, over the past decades, AFA has been focusing on strengthening the capacity of farmers organizations and cooperatives so they can better serve their members, and they can represent their members in the different policy processes at the national level, regional level, and global level. So again, it's a pleasure to be part of the panel. What I will be sharing with you are the relevant findings of a farmer perception survey that we have conducted together with the MSSRF and other partners, and also the key results of the local level consultation that we have conducted in 4 districts in four states. And I hope the key findings, which are very similar or aligned to what has already been mentioned by my fellow panelists, but I hope that this will contribute to the deliberations later on, in particular conservation challenges and opportunities. So this survey and consultation that we have conducted, it's with other partners like SEWA and NESFAS, and it was supported by GFAR and of course the Alliance Biodiversity SIAT, APAARI, through the collective action on forgotten food. So these are the partners that we have in Asia, across Asia Pacific. So the survey, we have done it with 25 partners, and it was done from March to June 2021, involving 18 countries in Asia Pacific, and we were able to engage a total of 3,087 farmers, and more than 62%, or at least 62% of them are from India. While the survey covered underutilized species in general, millet was identified by farmers in different country as one of the traditional crops that they continue to grow. And looking at the responses from all other countries, as you can see on the screen, in addition to India, farmers from these other countries have identified millet as an important crop, such as farmers from Bangladesh, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Nepal for South Asia, and Indonesia, Philippines, Taiwan, Vietnam for East and Southeast Asia. In Southeast Asia, for Indonesia, they have identified foxtail millet, barnyard millets, and jobstairs. And also in some country, they have identified sorghum as one of the traditional crops that they continue to grow for consumption. And this year we did a deep dive, and we did a consultation to further elaborate the farmer perception survey, and we have identified 4 states or 4 districts, namely Modasa in Gujarat, Namakkal, Koraput, and Riboy. So this was led by the national partners. And in these 2 processes, it was confirmed that family farmers continue to nurture and benefit from millets, relying on their own knowledge and from their family's tacit knowledge, and also from the knowledge of their fellow farmers. And on the screen, I have tried to get the specific results for millet from the result of the local level consultation. And here we have noted the various reasons why farmers continue or choose to grow millets, or also the reasons why they discontinue growing them. And there are various reasons that were provided by the farmers, as you can see on the screen. And this underscores the importance of building on farmers' own perception. In addition to the reasons, we also found that there are different varieties of millet being grown by farmers, and they have various reasons why they grow them. So for example, you can see on the screen little millets, foxtail millets, kodo, proso, barnyard, sorghum, and amaranth. You can see the different reasons farmers have expressed that they continue to grow them because of the cultural value it has, because of taste preference, and they are easy to grow. They can grow with minimal bio inputs, and some of them they also they say that they grow them because they have big grains and very short duration with high yield in the case of the common millets, and they have good market value, and they also have medicinal value in the case of little millet. And Also, there was some of them expressed that some of the varieties are not prone to attacks of pests like birds in the case of sorghum, and they are hardy, good yielding in the case of finger millet. And some of them also are aware of the nutritional value of the different types of millets. That's why they continue to cultivate and grow and use them. We also explored, in addition to the types of varieties that farmers are growing and the reasons why they are growing them or the reasons why they are not growing them, we also explored the various innovations introduced by farmers from production to marketing. And among the results captured, as you can see on the screen, farmers were able to integrate them into their existing cropping systems. They were able to grow millets and pulses along with the plantation crops, and they were able to find ways to effectively transplant finger millets, and also some ways in cultivating them. And some farmers also expressed that they were able to process millets for local consumption. So some examples given are the millet beer, millet cake, millet tea, and millet wine, but they have expressed that this is only for the local market. And in terms of marketing, some of the farmers' organization or farmers have expressed that they were able to do direct marketing of organic millet, and they were able to also set up shops serving traditional food, which include millets. Now, in terms of the challenges associated with growing and conserving millets, and some of the reasons why farmers discontinued its production, I think this is very similar with some of what has been pointed out earlier, and I'm sure it was also emphasized yesterday. So several interrelated reasons were expressed, and there are some inherent characteristics to the crop itself that made farmers not grow them, such as the low productivity compared to newer varieties. It's not profitable, it has low economic value, or they only have very low profit as compared to the high value crops and cash crops. It has low market demand or no market demand at all. And also there are external factors such as that high value crops were promoted as compared to the traditional crops, and that various institutions are not promoting these crops to the farmers, and also an availability of capacity building activities and lack of access to good quality seeds. And here you can see some of the limitations and challenges expressed by farmers, which is, I think, similar to all traditional crops, and also is applicable to some varieties of millet. So farmers listed marketing, the seed, access to seeds as among their challenges. So I just want to show these. These are the result of the local level consultation, which is very similar to what we have gathered during the perception survey across Asia Pacific. So one of the things that they have noted down is the human and animal conflict, that they continue to face. And lastly, I want to end with some recommendations that we have gathered during these two processes. So first is really for all stakeholders to foster the recognition and push for support for farmer producer groups and farmers organizations and cooperatives, because they really play a role when we talk about scaling out this type of initiatives, and more importantly when we talk about the market linking and sustainability of the efforts, and also push for public policies that facilitates farmers access to productive assets that will help them engage in the full value chain of NUS. And Third, promote the development and implementation of policies and programs in incentivizing economic opportunities and markets for underutilized nutritious crops like millet. And fourth, promote the development of incentives for farmers to fulfill their roles as custodians of agrobiodiversity and as drivers of rural development. Next, create economic opportunities for these underutilized crops or for millets, and help generate consumer demand, and really an effective market and awareness raising must be done, no? Raising, highlighting the nutrition and health benefits of millets. And also there's a recommendation on the support for the establishment of community seed banks for millets and other nutritionally underutilized species, and support for research and development institutions so they can play a role in addressing the challenges faced by farmers in relation to availability and access to seeds and practices for to enhance the yield, and also eco-friendly and women-friendly processing equipment and machines. And I think these are the last two recommendations. We hope that stakeholders will help address challenges related to access to technology, information, training, and financial services related to millets and other NUS, and support the development and implementation of organizational frameworks and institutional arrangement to improve farmers' participation in research and technology. So I just want to end.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Excellent presentation, Dr. Aris. So we are running out of time, so sorry for interrupting the last statement.
Yes, no worries. Thank you.
We have 3 more presentations, and we have exactly 15 minutes left. We have to have some questions also as well. So without taking any more time, Mr. Pran Ranjan, your floor is yours. Pran Ranjan is a natural resource management professional. He focuses on climate resilient processes for conservation of natural resources, and he works as a technical expert in GIZ. So he has his long experience on dealing with climate resilience, and particularly working as program director come officer in charge of Eastern region for 2 decades. So Mr. Pran Ranjan, floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
And time, keep in mind, please. 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, the chair.
Yeah, so we can't help.
So
that's what we have been instructed. Oh, if you are ready to sit here, no problem. We can. Anyway, yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. So first, I would like to give warm birthday wishes to Dr. Swaminathan, because he was guide and philosopher. Just to add on, I actually worked a lot in the organization which was started by Dr. Swaminathan, Society for Promotion of Wastelands Development. So almost 21 years, and he was the founder member of that organization. So I would like to give thanks to MSSRF to provide me this opportunity to come here and share my whatever the experiences in terms of millet and also the agroecology. And thanks to the chairperson, my eminent co-panelist in the chair. So actually, GIZ is a bilateral cooperation, technical cooperation agency, which works with government, different ministries actually. And also, I am here representing one of the project, which is one of the ambitious project, or we call it Lighthouse project also. It's support to agroecological transformation processes in India. So it's basically agroecology is the main theme towards it. GIZ is basically now focusing around. Once we talk about the agroecology, so in whole basically food system and also in the farming system, it has a role to play, because as per the decision, around 13 principles which is being followed under this agroecology domain actually, and all principles are basically addressing towards the sustainable farming system. So So as per our project objective, we are basically targeting whatever the other sustainable farming system which are existing within the country, and also what are the community level efforts which are being done, which is also having a lot of information, lot of resources, which is basically mainstreaming, as we were seeing the presentation of our colleagues. So there is a lot of research has been done, but do those research are being accessed by the farmers? And once you talk about the basically the cadre which is basically responsible for taking up all those research to the field. So extension services. So extension services, the agriculture department, main field forces, as well as the rural development departments. These are the two departments which are basically playing a major role to taking those researches in the field forward. So as the issues were raised, still a lot of seeds which are available with ICRISAT and other locations which is not accessible to the farmers. They are struggling with their traditional seed varieties. So those are the issues actually. So our main objective is to work with a set of field level farmers producers cooperatives, as well as the farmer producers companies, and also cluster level federations. So the farmer producer companies are now a pool of farmers who are responsible in production system, and also they have challenges to market their produces and all. So GIZ is basically, with the help of agriculture department, we are trying to build the capacities of all cadre from field to higher official level cadres, to understand what are the sustainable farming systems and what are the transition which is coming in the name of agroecology and all. So all those components are being driven forward, and so we under this project actually we are targeting 145 field level organizations. Those are the a group of farmer producer companies as well as the cluster level federations, and the principle number 7 and 10, which is economic diversification and fairness of the agroecology principle, is being targeted. So there are certain set of practices in the name of sustainable agriculture is happening. So, but how those practices are aligned with the agroecology principles, that is the priority should be there, so that at least the whole ecosystem approach can be inculcated in the whole system to conserve the resources actually. So that is the another indicator actually, and also we are targeting a lot of witness generation, like a lot of demonstration also. So at field level also we are trying to address a lot of coverage in terms of whatever the practices which are being mainstreamed in the name of agroecological transformation. So maybe it may be organic agriculture, it may be conservation agriculture, traditional farming, and whatsoever. So the coverage as a project, we are targeting 3 states right now. So Madhya Pradesh as well as Karnataka and Assam. Assam this year we have started, and here in terms of lighthouse, when I say, then GIZ has almost around 18 to 19 projects which is contributing the component of lighthouse. So the major component is basically all those agroecological principles, how we can target those. Maybe nutrition is one, another may be the regeneration, maybe biodiversity, and all those components are part of this. So once we come project by project, then at least 2-3 projects I can tell here. One is the project called CAFRI. CAFRI is a climate adaptive and finance in rural India. So this project was targeted actually to production of millet. We work in 2 modes actually. One mode is to basically work with the government departments or the ministries. So there we target basically capacity building and also the knowledge dissemination component. And the another is basically we work with the knowledge partners. So MSSRF is a kind of a knowledge partner for us. Similarly, a lot of organizations who has done a lot of work in the field. So we identify them as a knowledge partners, their practices we try to bring with the ministries, and so that coexist is a matter of coexistence together and taking the things forward in the benefit of the farming community. So climate adaptive farming project actually demonstrated a lot in Madhya Pradesh, in Mandla district, and they have basically done production support in the millet and also the processing aspect. So a lot of civil society organizations, their collectivization has been done by them, and processing is also been initiated by them. Another component of the one more project is called IRADA. IRADA project is basically enhancing rural livelihood through appropriate development action. So here the Ministry of Rural Development comes in, because MGNREG is a flagship program by the Government of India which is targeting the livelihoods promotion. So we are working with that with the support of that particular project. We are helping Rural Development Department, basically MGNREGA, to come up with a kind of a skill-based support systems to address the whatever the common resources as well as the individual resources can be involved in the process actually. So Amrit Jal Sarovar is one of the component. Moringa promotion is another component. So in that way, there are a variety of components which is being targeted. And also, millet is basically being targeted with the help of that, because when the land is treated with the help of MG and REGA, then the uplands, basically uplands and mediums, which is targeted as a millet promotions, that is also being supported with the help of such kind of a project. So capacity building here also plays a major role. And pro-soil is one of the major interventions in soil health improvement. So in Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, we have covered a lot of areas, and we have eradicated the lantana and brought those land under the agriculture, in fact millet and all. So the soil health, around 46 soil health measures were implemented in through the help of that particular project. And also another project is Safal, in which we are talking about sustainable integrated farming system, where the aquaculture has its role to play. So in that way, we are working out. And Senu is another project which is targeting the nutritional health. So here the community nutrition garden component is coming in, because a lot of small and marginal farmers, in fact the farmers who doesn't own any land, they also are coming in the form of a small women SHGs, and those women SHGs are accessing common lands, and they are doing certain sort of horti agriculture practices. So there the whole agriculture practices aligned with the local resource conservation components is being promoted, and this is being taken by the state government, and in large scale promotion is happening in the state of Madhya Pradesh. So these are the components is being promoted. Now, in terms of this Swati project, holistically at two levels we are targeting. One is support in production, processing and marketing to our partners, basically Department of Agriculture and State Rural Livelihood Missions. So we are also partnering in this project with the NRLM, National Rural Livelihood Missions. And another thing is like support to platforms, workshops, trade fairs, conferences, research addresses, the millet promotion discussions, etc. So millet scenario just skipping. So there are two events. This is a part of that third event we are supporting. One was basically trade fair organized by the Karnataka Agriculture Department, and another one by the National Rural Livelihood Mission in Delhi. And this is third in the chain. And also we have supported State Agriculture University in organizing such kind of a millet conferences and all. So that is that. And in direct intervention component, so if you'll see, like in the state of Assam, government is coming up with a kind of a very millet promotion mission actually. So they are seeking help in terms of capacity building and all those components where GIZ comes in. So GIZ is planning to support the capacity building of Department of Agriculture and Assam State Rural Livelihood Missions officials, state to village level. So around agro-ecological transformation processes, which will also be targeting millet promotion as a part of diversified farming system promotion. We have targeted 3 states by keeping their own strength. Like in Assam, we are basically focusing on the sustainable integrated farming system, which also includes the aquaculture. So and in Madhya Pradesh, we are mostly banking on the seed bank component, because a lot of community seed banks are available. Their networks are also available. So we are supporting that particular seed bank, so that the large number of farmers can access those particular seed support systems, and also bringing a state agriculture university to come up with the new varieties of seeds which is available and which is extincting also. So how we can bring those seed components there, and also the technological support with the help of department.
Okay, please wind up.
So on the similar manner in Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh, the certain challenges which are, I think, common to us, because we are listening since yesterday. So these are the common challenges of the millet promotion. So, but in terms of opportunity, if you'll see, there is a potential to address the climate change adaptability and sustainable farming, and it's a good starter for natural agro-ecological farming methods. Millet as a crop is being targeted, its overall production, processing and marketing internationally. So various states are coming up with millet missions. So we are coming up, we are supporting them. And another component I just missed to address here, like NABARD, we are also with the NABARD. So they have a very ambitious program called JIVA. So that is again in the natural farming. And holistically, there is a ambitious program launched by the Department of Agriculture, Ministry of Agriculture. That's a national mission for natural farming. So that gives a lot of opportunity to come up with a traditional agriculture practices to come up to mainstream those learnings. So we are also supporting those natural farming missions to get it established in terms of state missions. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry for hurrying up, and there is no other way. But a lot of information in your presentation. And of course, given time, you can really, enlighten all of us. But unfortunately, the time is limiting. So thanks, Mr. Pranarajan, for an excellent presentation and taking us through your different engagements with help of different ministries, central ministries, and different organizations like MSSRF and state governments like Assam, as you highlighted at the end, how things are happening. Our next presentation is by Mr. Prasant Kumar Parida. Mr. Parida is a development coordinator with the biodiversity program of Jaipur Center of MSSRF. So again, rich experience in the field of research and development, particularly biodiversity conservation and sustainable utilization, gender roles in particular in conservation and development of millets. So Mr. Parida is going to take us through their activities in brief though. So Mr. Parida, floor is yours.
Thank you,
Please
respected
Please
Chair.
be brief.
Yeah. And co-panelists and dignitaries of the dais. I will try to be very brief in this case. Actually, I am going to deliver the talk on millet diversity and agroecology, Ex-situ and In-situ on-farm conservation, challenges and opportunities. Actually, Koraput, as you know, it's one of the biodiversity hotspot of India and recognized as a globally important agricultural heritage system by FAO in 2012, and it is very rich biodiversity presence in this region. And at MS Swaminathan Research Foundation of Jaipur Center, we have a very rich repository of various diversity like millets. We have around 71 land races, rice, pulses, and so many varieties of diversity we have conserved both in situ and ex-situ in our center. Then coming to the JHS, that is the cultural heritage and ethnic knowledge. Actually, Koraput region is a rich assembly of unique floral and faunal diversity. The region is known for its cultural traditions and value systems and traditional knowledge. It has the ecological and agricultural diversity maintained as unique systems, contributed towards the food and nutritional security of generations. There are different tribes groups have conserved a large number of land races of rice, millets, pulses, and medicinal plants. And the region is served as a gene pool of the global scenario. Coming to the millet agroecology, MSRF is following the 4C approach, that is conservation, cultivation, consumption, and commerce. So Ex-situ and In-situ conservation is the focus area, and we are focusing on producing quality seeds and strengthening seed systems, particularly varietal selection and crop improvement strategy. And we are also empowering farm women with infrastructure and training for their drudgery reduction and reduction of time poverty. Processing, value addition, and marketing of millet products is another area of focus. Coming to the varietal choice, that is in that region, we have seen that there are lots of varieties having potential, even if apart to the improved cultivars of those who are using in that region. So I am not going through in detail, but the potential is there. Coming to the performance of farmers' varieties of finger millet, we have the joint study with the Central University of India, Central University of Koraput, Odisha, Professor Dr. Ponda is also available here. From that joint research, we found that there are 33 native varieties were genotypes taken for research, and we found there are so many varieties having very rich in their protein, fiber, and energy compared to other cultivars, and these varieties are superior to the enhanced hybrid types. And the JHS region is the host of many such varieties, so we need to promote those varieties, and that's the quality seeds should reach to the farmers. There are some key challenges and problems we encounter in the region. One is the region is embedded with many indigenous varieties of millets, but the mixture in seeds and impurity leads to the distinctness, the varietal loss, and the region is witnessing rapid erosion of local land races. So agriculture is the main occupation of that region. So we need to see that the quality seeds should be reached to farming communities, and they used to follow the subsistence agricultural practices, and low technological interventions are there, and high level treasury. So these are the challenges we need to address in future. And what MSs are envisaged to do in this region, that is exploration, documentation, conservation, and characterization of genetic resources, and participatory approach to enhance yield of land races. Then quality seed production of indigenous and improved varieties. We are following one alternative seed system model to produce quality seeds, and scaling up cultivation of selected finger millet and other millets, and appropriate technological interventions, study of culinary practices of millets, then grassroots institution established value addition, processing and cultivate and marketing. And we also need to focus on the infrastructural development and enhancement of technology and extension of technology to the farmers. Coming to the alternative seed system model we followed, I am not going in detail to this model, but this is the model we are following to get pure seeds and to reach the get the pure seeds for the farmers. Then community biodiversity management system, that is also another important area we are following in this region for in situ on-farm conservation. Community gene seed grain bank continuum is the major area we are focusing on that. There is a seed bank, community seed bank management committee. Already this system is explained by Professor Carlo in the first session. So I am not going in detail to that. So this is my last slide. That is the relevant emerging research areas in the region and plans to address it. So we need to focus on conservation, sustainable use of agrobiodiversity, including habitats and indigenous technical knowledge and tribal culture and practices. In view of the rapid changes in the traditional practices, need attention for conservation of these unique species and genotypes for perpetuity. And then traditional knowledge digital library, there is a need to document their traditional knowledge, and it should be digitized, available for the scientific community. Then scientific validation and nutritional profiling of all the genotypes of the region. Then registration of indigenous varieties of millets under PPFRA and GI tagging is also another area. So we are working on that. That is also a priority area to be taken up. Then creating linkages with the government of Odisha in taking forward farming system for nutrition model in most vulnerable region of to address malnutrition and hidden hunger. Provision of incentives towards the conservation efforts of custodian farmers, that is another area we need to focus on. Then preparation of a roadmap for safeguarding the GIHS status of Koraput we need to work on that in future. Then development of a business model on production and commercialization of millet-based products. Finally, the establishment of a millet biopark at Koraput as a replicable model. In this model, there is a session next day, so Dr. Oliver will focus on this. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Pareda. Now the last presentation by Mr. K. Sanmugam, custodian farmer, Koli Hills, Namakkal, Tamil Nadu.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். என் பேர் சண்முகம். நான் நாமக்கல் மாவட்டம் கொல்லிமலையில் வந்திருக்கேன். நான் ஒரு மலை விவசாயி. பாரம்பரியமாக கொல்லிமலையில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா சிறுதானியம் தான் ஆரம்பத்தில் போட்டு வந்தோம். அது காலப்போக்கில் பணத்துக்காக குச்சி வந்தது. குச்சி போனாலுமே அந்த சிறுதானியங்கள் அழிஞ்சு போச்சு. அந்த பாரம்பரிய அந்த சிறுதானியங்களை மீட்டெடுத்து சாமிநாதன் ஆராய்ச்சி நிறுவனம் ஒவ்வொரு கிராமங்களிலும் விதை வங்கி உருவாக்குனாங்க. அந்த விதை வங்கியை அந்தந்த கிராம மக்கள் அங்கேருந்து எடுத்து பயிர் பண்ணலாம். பயிர் பண்ணிட்டு இன்னும் அதான் நடந்துகிட்ருக்குது. இப்போ அந்த விதை வங்கி உருவாக்கி அப்போ அதையும் திரும்ப அழிஞ்சு போன தானியங்களுக்கு மக்கள் திரும்ப சீக்கிரமாக வர முடியல. காரணம் என்னென்னா எல்லாம் குத்தி தான் அந்த நேரத்தில் அரிசி எடுத்தாங்க. அப்போ எங்கேயுமே மில்லு இல்லை. சாமதன் அரைக்கிறதுக்கான மில்லட் அரைக்கிறதுக்கான மில்லு இல்லை. அதுக்காக நம்ம தூரம் கீழே தான் போக வேண்டியதாக இருந்தது. நாங்கள் ஒரு மலைப்பகுதி, அங்கேருந்து 50 கிலோமீட்டர் கீழே தான் போக வேண்டியிருந்தது. அப்போ ஒரு பெரிய மில்லு ஆரம்பித்தாங்க ஆரம்பத்தில். அந்த கொல்லிமலை பகுதி மட்டுமே ஒரு இடத்துல போய் அரைக்கணும்னா அது ஒரு பெரிய 14 பஞ்சாயத்து கொண்ட ஒரு பெரிய பகுதி. அங்கெல்லாம் போய் அமைக்க முடியாது. குறிப்பிட்ட காலகட்டத்தில் ஒவ்வொரு பஞ்சாயத்துலேயும் ஒவ்வொரு கிராமங்களிலையும் ஒரு 4-5 கிராமங்கள் பகுதியில் அங்கங்கே சின்ன சின்ன மினி மில் ஆரம்பித்து கொடுத்தாங்க. அந்த லோக்கல் மக்கள் திரும்ப அந்த மாதிரி அந்த கஷ்டத்தை போக்குறதுக்காக திரும்ப அந்த விதை வங்கி எல்லாம் எடுத்து திரும்பவும் அழிஞ்சு போன பாரம்பரிய தானியத்தை மீண்டும் அந்த விதை வங்கியில் அவங்க அந்தந்த கிராம மக்களே பயன்படுத்திக்குவாங்க. அந்தந்த லோக்கல் கிராம அந்த விதையை அங்கே உற்பத்தி பண்ணி அப்புறம் ஒரு காலகட்டத்தில் அது எங்கே விற்கிறது அப்படின்னு போராடணும். அதுக்கு பிறகு பார்த்திங்கன்னா அந்த அதுக்கு பிறகு எங்களுக்கு ஒரு கம்பெனி ஆரம்பித்தாங்க. உற்பத்தியாளர் கம்பெனி உருவாக்கி அது மூலமாக நல்ல விலைக்கு அதை விற்றோம். இப்போ விற்றுட்டு வரோம். இப்போவும் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்குறோம். அங்கங்கே எல்லா கிராமங்களிலும் விதை வங்கி இருக்குது. இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இப்போ எங்களுக்கு இப்போ ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு சவால். அக்காலத்தில் நாங்கள் ஆரம்பத்தில் எங்களுக்கு தானியத்தை அழிக்கிறதுக்கு சில காட்டு ஜீவராசியெல்லாம் மயில் இல்லை. இப்போ ஏகப்பட்ட மயில் வந்திருக்குது. அந்த மயில் வந்தீங்கன்னா எங்கள் தானியத்தை எல்லாமே அழித்து சாப்பிட்டு போயிடுது. அதுதான் எங்களுக்கு ஒரு பெரிய சவால். இப்போ அது என்ன பண்ணுறதுன்னு தெரியல. ஆனால் இப்போ நல்ல விலைக்கு கிடைக்கல. நல்ல விலை கிடைக்கல. இப்போ ஒரு 38 ரூபா தராங்க ஒரு கிலோ. அது எங்களுக்கு பத்தாது, போதுமானது இல்லை. அதனால் ஒரு 45 ரூபா 50 ரூபா அந்த நாங்கள் உற்பத்தி பண்ணக்கூடிய விலைக்கு ஒரு கிலோவுக்கு 50 ரூபா 40 ரூபா கொடுத்தாங்களா எங்களுக்கு நல்லாயிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறோம். அது இல்லாமல் காலப்போக்கில் இப்போ எங்கள் கம்பெனி மூலமாக தான் எல்லா விதையும் நாங்கள் அது மட்டும் இல்லாமல் எல்லாமே அங்கே விளைக்கூடிய பொருள் பழங்கள் எல்லாமே கம்பெனி மூலமாக தான் விற்பனை செய்கிறோம். அது எங்களுக்கு அது ஒரு பிரயோஜனமாகுது. மற்ற வியாபாரிகள்லாம் கம்மி விலைக்கு வாங்கிட்டு போயிடுவாங்க. கம்பெனி மூலம் வரும்போது எங்களுக்கு நல்ல ஒரு வருவாய் கிடைக்குது. அது எங்களுக்கு மகிழ்ச்சிகரமாகவும் இருக்குது. அது எங்களுக்கு பாரம்பரிய அழிஞ்சு போன தானியத்தை திரும்ப மீட்டெடுத்து எங்களுக்கு திரும்பவும் அந்த தானியத்தில் என்னென்ன சத்துக்கள்லாம் இருக்குதுன்னு எல்லாம் ஒவ்வொரு கிராமங்கள்லாம் சொல்லி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. அந்த அழிஞ்சு போன விவசாயிகளை திரும்பவும் மீட்டெடுத்து கொடுத்த எம்.எஸ். சாமிநாதன் ஆராய்ச்சி நிறுவனத்துக்கு நாங்கள் மனமார்ந்த நன்றியை சொல்லிக்கொண்டு என்னை போன்ற ஆயிரக்கணக்கான விவசாயிகள் என் கொல்லிமலையிலே அவருக்கு எம்.எஸ். சாமிநாதன் ஆராய்ச்சி நிறுவனத்துக்கு நன்றி சொல்ல கடமைப்பட்டுள்ளோம் என்று சொல்லி என் வாய்ப்புக்கு நன்றி கூறி விடைபெறுகிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Okay, बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you very much. And session is open for maybe 1 or 2 questions, not more than. You can interact during your lunch time, and yes, you can go ahead. And maybe 2, and Dr. Carlo would manage the question answer session. Dr. Carlo, please. And I will take leave. Thank you very much for your patience for the whole session. We have been hurrying up. I thank all the speakers for excellent presentations and giving us various facets of Exsitu and In-situ conservation of millets by various organizations engaging with the farmers and so on and so forth. So thanks a lot, all the speakers. And Carlo, please.
Yeah, thank you. There are two questions, one there and one there. If we can give the microphones.
This is a general question. This is a general question. To select a particular variety, there may be many variables to select for the selection of a particular variety for the cultivation. Number one, environmental variable. Another is growth variable, that is duration of growth. Another is cost of production of a particular variety, and then price, that is commercial variable. And also apart from this, there are very important variables, that is the nutritional variable. That is the main factor, I think which decides the selection of any variety. That may be flexible depending upon the places. The variable superiority may differ, but mainly we have to focus in whatever place we are cultivating, but we have to focus on nutritional value. That is my suggestion. You can react to this. Another is transfer of one variety into other soil, because I listened some studies in various places in India. But what is the experiment? How far they are a particular variety cultivated in different places, what is their experience? What is the research finding? Whether it is profitable. And finally, one person talked about capacity building. I want to know whether we have included all these changes due to environmental reasons and biodiversity in our curriculum, especially for the agricultural graduates. Have we included all these, whatever the findings, outcome of our research done by various institutes in our curriculum, especially agricultural education? Have we done so far? You can react, anyone can react. It's a general question.
Yeah, thank you. We take the second question to the gentleman there before we give the panelists a chance to respond. I'm sorry, there will be no time for additional questions.
Thank you. I am Samashivam. I come from Chennai, from the area called Mylapore. Coincidentally, the name Mylapore and Mr. K. Shanmugam of Kolli Hills, he mentioned that there was a peacock problem while cultivating crops. I come from the area Mylapore, which is also named after peacock. But how come in the past there was no peacock problem, suddenly peacock problem emerged? I am failing to understand that. And regarding the millets, and I want to mention that recently I encountered a company called Tianjin and also some acupuncture related doctors who stress that there are 6 different types of tastes for 12 organs of the body, and each organ works for 2 hours in the 24 hours, and each taste corresponds to one organ. For example, for kidney, one taste. In Tamil, we say arusuvai. Aru means arusuvai, 6 tastes. So this concept is not being emphasized in the discussion. I want to know why. Regarding the gene bank, I want to bring your attention to the genetically modified methodology being used. Nowadays, we find bananas and Monsanto Corporation and the effect of chemical fertilizers on the soil. Because nowadays Yoko agriculture and organic farming is being promoted. So these two, I think, are the destructive factors of environment, agro-ecological environment. And climate change. Thirdly, climate change, is it a hoax? Because For the past 4 years, climate change is being promoted as a hoax. Hoax means it's a false campaign, false marketing. Because climate change is always there for 5,000 years. How can that be?
Let's give us also a chance to respond. Otherwise, we remain with the questions
I think
no answers.
Dr. Carlo, few responses, and then we can because we need to.
Anyone who wants to say something?
On the questions of capacity building, I would like to react actually. So recently there is a kind of a center of excellence started by Andhra Pradesh government. It's basically on agro-ecology. So they have started a kind of a course curriculum basically targeting the agriculture graduates there who will be oriented in the other agriculture format of practices in the country. So basically addressing. At the same time, I was in touch with Jawaharlal Nehru Krishi Vishwavidyalaya. It's a famous agriculture university in the central part of the country. So they also are working on a course curriculum for the graduates from the agriculture university. So they are bringing in those components of alternative agriculture systems. So in that way, ICR is basically giving information, permissions to come up with such kind of a course curriculums. So that is happening actually. So address that. Others can add on other parts.
I don't know if anyone wants to give 10 seconds. Yeah.
So regarding these environmental variables, actually at research stations, we test for these traits like nutrition for adaptation to different environments. And germ blossom that we are screening at the institution like Exsitu, grain nutrition we are screening biotic stresses, abiotic stresses. These germ blossom we are interacting with the MSSRF and other institutions to put it in the farmer's field. So the farmers can test in that location and then they can choose which is available and which is better performing in that particular location, because many germ blossom having different characteristics, but you need to choose what is desirable for you, whether yield or whether nutrition or both, all those things you need to choose. Those type of experiments are going on different places.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. The session is going to be closed now. Thank you for all the suggestions, and thank you the chair and the panelists. Yeah. Yeah. We have a small, we are honoring our panelists.